Hi there, Garry Turner here, founder, business developer and curator of the Radicality ecosystem of transformative partners. Many transformative partners that can help you transform your organisation from where you are to where you want to be in the future as we navigate this increasingly complex, challenging and VUCA world. The website is radicality.co.uk. My email is garry, Garry, .turner@radicality.co.uk. What I wanted to share with you today is my experience of an incredible human being called Whitney Johnson, founder and CEO of Disruption Partners, author of multiple books, including this one called Disrupt Yourself. When you think about those two words, disrupt yourself, what comes up with for you? I invite you to take a breath and think and feel into disrupt yourself. When is a time when you've done that? When is a time or times when you've avoided doing that, even though you know it could be in your best interests? I invite you to check this book out and also check out the podcast of the same name. Whitney's work's incredible, and why I really love it is that it is based on an S-curve of learning. There's a few points, the launch point at the bottom, the midpoint when you're in the sweet spot, and at the top when you're in mastery. And you can actually map your organisation, you can map your team on this S-curve. And what's been really interesting and enlightening for me over my career is to see that I deliberately push myself off of my learning curve after every 2 to 3 years. And this is very much in line with the research around personal disruption that Whitney has evidenced in this book, and is very much the foundation of her work as part of Disruption Partners. Now, something else I want you to know about Whitney is that she very kindly had me onto her podcast, Disrupt Yourself. You can find it on any of the your favourite podcast channels, and it's episode 301. And this was, in fact, my example of disrupting myself, because at the time I was looking to join a new organisation. And that organisation I approached directly in the spirit of this book. Whitney talks about market risk over competitive risk. Competitive risk being when you're competing with somebody else for a job, when you're competing with somebody else around a product. Whereas market risk is when you create a new product or you create a new role or opportunity for yourself, which is exactly what I was inspired to do by Whitney, her work and this book. So I reached out to a competitor organisation that I felt was culturally more advanced than my current employer at the time. I spoke with the CEO. He said, okay, yeah, let's have a chat. We spoke for 25 minutes. I then spoke with the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, for nearly an hour. I then met the Global HR Director, the Asia Pacific HR Director, and then went through an assessment centre for a whole day in Hamburg. In the end, it didn't work out after the assessment centre. I'm glad it didn't work out in the end, because that organisation was not as culturally advanced as it seemed on the outside. However, I just want to show you a real life example of Whitney's work, this book, and my own becoming, my own willingness to continue to disrupt myself, was that I almost created a brand new opportunity for my career opportunity. But what's interesting is that organisation then filled the new learning and development director role with somebody else. That organisation created a brand new role for me. Didn't work out for me, but that experience for them allowed them to disrupt themselves as an organisation and then implement a learning development director role that someone else then filled. I'm super excited to share about Whitney's work because, and again, do check out my episode with her on 301 on the Disrupt Yourself platform, because it's really accessible, really inclusive approach to personal and organisational disruption. And this is also really intersectional. So it really invites, it's not exclusive, it's very inclusive in how it operates. And it actually, in my own view, it gives you the opportunity as a senior and executive team to be much more intentional about how do you improve the diversity of your senior team? How do you make sure you do actually eradicate the gender pay gap? Because when you look at your S-curve of learning and see who's stuck at mastery, who's coming at that launch point, who's in the high growth sweet spot of your organisation and your culture, you'll see really quickly who sits where and who do you want to be moving up that learning curve and who should get the opportunities for talent and career progression, particularly at senior levels within your organisation in the future. So Whitney Johnson, Disrupt Yourself. Why don't you consider disrupting yourself today? And I'd love to talk to you more if you're interested to find out more about the Radicality ecosystem, radicality.co.uk.